All right, and some breaking news just coming in. The CBI has now got 5-day custody for P Chidambaram. This is the latest news coming in. Remember, he was summoned by the CBI court today. The former Union Minister P Chidambaram was questioned for 3 hours at the CBI headquarters and was produced in court today. And the court's decision has been that the CBI has been given custody till August 26. That is 5 days now. And our political editor Kartikeya Sharma is now joining us live for the latest on this. So, Kartikeya, clearly a major setback there for P Chidambaram here, the CBI getting 5 days custody.
I think it's on an expected line, Bharvi, for one simple reason, that there is a precedent. It is very rare that the trial courts in India, they go against the directives of the higher court. Now, if you look at the orders of the trial court, they have been populist in the nature that they do not go against the public sentiment, one. Secondly, High Court had given an order in which they had said that there are reasons for Chidambaram to be denied any protection from arrest. And High Court Chidambaram, the former Union Finance Minister, should and can be detained and questioned by the Chidambaram had not only been evasive when it came to questions, but they also alleged that he in this case. Keeping that in mind, I think the logical conclusion was that the trial court would have. Anyhow, CBI has been given custody of P Chidambaram. But what makes this case different is Mr. Chidambaram was being represented by high-profile lawyers like Vivek Tankha, former Union Law Minister Kapil Sibal, Abhishek Manu Singhvi, Salman Khurshid, former Foreign Affairs Minister and Law Minister of the country. So these high-profile battery of Congress lawyers were defending him. So it took time. They all spoke. It took them more than 2 hours. Any other case, Bharvi, of any other with a lesser profile politician, the case would have been dismissed in rank 15 to 20 minutes.
Absolutely. And of course, Kartikeya, now, as you were pointing out, a battery of lawyers there representing, P Chidambaram there. And one of the arguments they made today in court was that what was the questioning needed for, as they believe the CBI already has a charge sheet in place for P Chidambaram, and that since yesterday till this afternoon they hadn't really questioned P Chidambaram. They're just wasting time, even as the CBI continues to say, of course, that P Chidambaram has not helped with the investigation. He has been evasive. So both sides making their arguments today in court.
Bharvi, the point which Kapil Sibal was trying to make yesterday and even today was that there are conditions for the application of bail. Now, if you fulfill those applications for bail, you will get a bail. Now, what are those commitments you have to show? One, that you will not temper the evidence. Second, you will not harm the investigation. You will not try to influence it. And third, you will not flee. Now, in that case, Kapil Sibal argued that Chidambaram fulfills all three criteria. For simple reason, his passport has been confiscated. He's in Delhi. He's answering all the questions. But then the Tushar Mehta and other legal luminaries of Central Bureau of Investigation argued that this is not enough. We need him in our custody for much more intensive interrogation, one. Secondly, the argument on Power Enforcement Directorate was that since he has been in the position of power so much, he understands the legal loopholes and the way system works. So we need far more intimate, aggressive, and a continuous setting in which we can question Chidambaram. So that is where the issue was. But I would say, coming back to the legality of the matter, the politics and the optics of him getting CBI getting custody is one thing. The nature of the order of High Court was such that the special court judge, which is like a trial court, could not have gone against the High Court Order 1, and Supreme Court had refused to intervene and did not provide Chidambaram interim protection. So in this context, I would say that the precedent was already there. High Court came out with a scathing order,
yes,
and the trial court had to implement it.
Right, very important points there, Kartikeya. Also joining us now is my colleague Jessica Taneja, who's been tracking all the developments in court today. And Jessica, what a day it has been. Lots of arguments there being put forward by both sides, the government being represented by the Solicitor General. Take us through what all happened this evening.
Well, Bharvi, yes, it's been a marathon hearing in the Rouse Avenue court here in Delhi today. The arguments began by Tushar Mehta saying that former Finance Minister P Chidambaram has been evading questions. His nature, he has not been answering questions, and one of the demands for custody was that he's an intelligent man. He knows the law, hence he's not answering a lot of questions, to which Mr. Chidambaram's lawyers rebutted that claim and said that there's nothing like that. He was taken into custody at last night, and he was only interrogated after 12 p.m. And only 12 questions were asked, out of which 6 were answered by the former finance minister. So there was no need to arrest him and take him in custody. So of course, now that Mr. Chidambaram will be in CBI's custody for the next 5 days, CBI was pressing for, this is exactly what the CBI had asked. So the Solicitor General told the court that he needs at least 5 days more to interrogate. He said that he has a draft FIR already prepared, and he said that Mr. Chidambaram is not giving details for further probe, so that is why the interrogation is required.
Right. And also, Jessica, now what happens to that bail plea that's listed on Friday in the Supreme Court? Does it structures? What happens to that bail plea that was likely to take place in the Supreme Court tomorrow?
Well, Bharvi, it will be heard tomorrow, and the court will take that into consideration. Of course, it becomes infructuous because it was filed before his arrest, so it was a pre-arrest bail plea, the anticipatory bail plea that the Delhi High Court order had quashed. So it was now that he was arrested, of course it becomes infructuous, but it will be interesting to see as to what the court says, because the whole matter, the whole legality revolved around this particular bail plea to be listed for urgent hearing in the Supreme Court, but eventually that did not happen. The CBI moved the Rose Avenue Court, the district court, and that has eventually given the CBI his custody. But it will be interesting to see as to what the court does tomorrow. And also, this is the CBI's plea, the case against CBI.
Right.
Another one against by the ED against the ED on 27th of August is also listed. So there's a lot that Mr. Chidambaram needs to deal with right now.
Okay, absolutely. Well, Jessica Taneja and Karthikeya Sharma, both, thanks very much indeed for joining us with this big breaking news coming in that P Chidambaram, of course, has been sent to 5 days of CBI custody. We're wrapping up the show. A lot more on the other side when we come back. Stay tuned.